I mean, when I started playing the guitar, I learned a couple of chords. I was strumming away, and man, I felt on top of the world. Now I could study a Tommy Emmanuel piece, be able to play it, and I would still not have that same satisfaction as when I was playing just the chords to Angie by the Rolling Stones. You play better when you care less. Hi, and welcome at yourguitarworkshop.com. My name is Andre, and today is not a tutorial, but this might be one of the most important things that you'll hear in a long time. It's regardless of your level, so whether you're a beginner, which would even be better, intermediate player, advanced player, whether you're a professional and maybe you're teaching, this could be very, very significant for you. It was for me. Probably the one thing, or one of the biggest things, that is holding us back as musicians, as teachers, as students. And I spend a lot of time on YouTube. I see a ton of great content. I haven't seen this topic discussed as much that I'm going to be talking about. But doesn't mean it isn't there. So if it is there, please comment, place a comment, put a link there so other people can see that information too, because I think this is so important. Now, before I get into it, I want you to imagine a place where learning was all about fun. It was immersive, lasted all day long. You could start and stop whenever you want. You decided what you wanted to immerse yourself in. For this one moment this, then it's that, one moment that, it's that. No tests, no expectations, no pressure. Imagine a place like that. It's pretty hard to imagine a place like that because a lot of places where we learn are not like that. There is pressure. There are expectations, whether your teachers or your own. Not necessarily fun. Sometimes it lasts a big part of the day, but it's definitely the entire day. Is it immersive? Maybe. In many cases, it isn't, unless you choose to do so. And what I'm getting at is that the funny thing is that we've had that place in our lives where it was all those great things. And it was when we were a baby. And the important part about that is that when you're a baby, you learn so much more than we do when we're older. Learning goes so fast. Probably because it is fun. It is immersive. And it is whenever you want. And you do the things that you're passionate about. Well, maybe we wouldn't call it passionate, but you know, you see a certain toy and you're completely into that toy. And maybe another important part of it is language. You learn language. You want to learn those words. I see it with my own kids. I have a daughter who's 5. She speaks 2 languages fluently. She reads one language really well, so you can just sit her down with a book. And she did that pretty much on her own. Also the reading part. There's never been pressure. We've never sat down with her, like, oh, now do this or that. She had that interest. And she was learning so fast because of it. Is learning so fast because of it. And I think especially the language part of it is important because music is considered to be a language as well. And the best way to learn a language is to immerse yourself in it, but also to have fun with it. I never sat down with a book with my daughter and be like, okay, so let's go over some grammar. These are the rules. This is a verb. This is that. That's that. Never. We never do that. Kids just hear us speak and they slowly pick up the language, start to mimic things, and then from that, they learn to speak. We don't have to do anything. But I think the biggest point in all of this, and this is what I'm getting at in this video, I think the one big thing that is holding us back is us. It's our expectations. I see so many students, young to old, come in the door. When they're beginners, they have an expectation. They feel that when they start and then 2 weeks later, they know how to play the guitar. That's what their expectation is. In fact, a lot of these expectations are being fed online. You know, learn to play the guitar in 10 weeks. Learn to play this or that in a week or 10 days or that many hours. But what if you're that person who doesn't accomplish that? Then what? There is that expectation. You're going to get your money back. Sure, you get your money back, but that's not what it's about. You start to think that there's something wrong with you. And you're thinking, why am I not learning this in 10 weeks? Why am I not there where I should be? So the reason why I'm talking about this, I'm not sure, oh, I do have it here, is that I started reading this book. It was recommended to me by a friend. And the book is called Effortless Mastery by Kenny Werner. And it opened my eyes to a lot of things that are going wrong in my mind. How I approach music, how I approach my instrument, how I approach studying. And what I see with going wrong with a lot of people, so let's talk about beginners first. So what I see there a lot is that they have this expectation that when I pick up the instrument, within a certain amount of time, I'm going to be able to play the guitar. That's an expectation. And what if you wouldn't have that expectation? Then whatever level you would have would be the level that you have. And if there is just that desire to play the guitar, you would actually have fun doing it. But now, because you have that expectation, every time that something doesn't work, you get frustrated. And you're like, man, why am I not getting there? And that's working against you in multiple ways. So first of all, when you're frustrated, your learning stops, basically, because you're not picking much information up when you're frustrated. The other thing is that it's not fun anymore, so you're less likely to pick up the guitar next time, right? And for maybe an intermediate player, it would be they're playing, but they're not liking what they hear. And they feel that they should be in a better place by now. Or there is something else. There is sort of pressure on progress. Now, first of all, you have to realize that the better you are at playing an instrument, the slower progress goes, right? In the beginning, it goes super fast, and then it sort of evens out at the end. There's still progress, but you have to work much longer to get to make the same steps, I mean, when I started playing the guitar, I learned a couple of chords. I was strumming away, and man, I felt on top of the world. Now I could study a Tommy Emmanuel piece, be able to play it, and I would still not have that same satisfaction as when I was playing just the chords to Angie by the Rolling Stones. Which is weird. Because back then, if somebody would have told me, listen to this song, this is Endless Road by Tommy Emmanuel, you're going to be able to play that in like 5 or 6 years' time, I would be, oh, no way. I am not going to be able to play that. Then, really? Are you serious? Am I going to be able to play that? Yeah, you are. I wouldn't believe it. Now I believe it because I do, but at the same time, it doesn't do the same for me as what it did back then. So this whole idea that you get in your head of expectations is not just when you're studying, but it can be when you're performing, when you're composing, when you're teaching. It's in everything. So what is holding us back is our ego, right? Imagine performing and your guitar teacher walks in. You suddenly feel, oh man, now I have to be on my very best. I want to show this guy that I learned the lesson. I want to show this guy that I can do it. And does it work? Usually it doesn't. You know, when you put that kind of pressure on yourself, it's not really going to work. For me, sometimes it was when, I was playing with students and it would be okay. But if I would be playing with colleagues, because I just started teaching here at Selkirk, I felt that I had to prove myself. And that pressure caused me to judge every single note that I was playing. And in my head, there was this voice, don't mess this up, don't mess this up, don't mess this up. It's a really bad place to be in, instead of just sharing your joy and enjoying what you're doing. It's turning into this life or death situation where when our joy and our happiness is suddenly dependent on how well we play. And that's terrible. It's the worst place to be in. A lot of people identify themselves with their instrument. They're saying, I'm a guitarist. I'm a saxophone player. No, you're not. You're either a Dennis or you're a Bob or you're a Jonathan or, you're a person. You're you. I'm not a guitarist. I play guitar, but I'm not a guitarist. I am not a YouTuber. I put videos on YouTube, which is a different thing. But when we identify ourselves as being YouTubers, as being guitarists, then when YouTube is doing bad, I'm doing bad. And I felt that. When my gig went bad, I'm not doing too well either. On the other hand, when the gig went well, I would feel good. I would be like, hey, was happening yesterday. I feel good about myself. So I think that if you're interested in, or not necessarily interested in, but if some of these things sound familiar, then that's something you might want to tackle. Now, whether this book that I showed before, Effortless Mastery, is for you, I don't know. I haven't finished it yet. I do just one chapter and then every time, and then take some time to process the information and try to deeply understand what has been said, because I feel that because a lot of it, what's in here, is very, 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 very applicable to me. So I take my time with it. Later in the book, it goes about things like meditation. He speaks about God. That might not be your thing. But even the first, the first 70 pages or so, were eye-openers for me, are eye-openers for me. So it definitely, is not a very expensive book. And I think if you're a professional or whatever, or whoever and are struggling with these things, then I think it's definitely worth investigating. Maybe in a local bookshop, it's there, and maybe you can look in it or something like that. But I would definitely do that. So one of the things that's in that book, what I really like, is the phrase, "You play better when you care less." Now, we're always so involved with how we sound and playing the right scales and playing the right licks and playing with authority and, whatnot. But it is when you let go of those thoughts and just be the music that you're playing is when the real magic happens. There is no judgment. There is not, I shouldn't play that. It's just immersing yourself in the experience of playing music and enjoying it. And whenever there is a note that maybe sounds different, I'm not going to say wrong, but sounds different, you flow with it instead of beating yourself up about it. Because a lot of us can identify with the fact that somebody asks you after a gig, "So how did it go?" Well, I messed up there and there, and I messed up there and there. You probably played like an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 hours of music, and yet you're focusing on those few spots where things went wrong. You can also start to choose to focus on different things, like the vibe. Music is about communication. It's about connecting with your audience. It is connecting with yourself and the story that you want to tell. And I think when you do that, I think that things will start to change. You'll play better. Study becomes fun. It becomes something that you're looking forward to. Because the fun part is also in the process. And I had that much more before I started to study music. So all up until the moment that I went to conservatory, I was putting in so many hours, like 10 to 12 hours a day. And I loved to study. But it was in my first year of conservatory where there was so much, I'm not really sure if it's competition, but everything was being weighed and judged. And that was when I started to slowly start to lose the fun in playing. And it became a thing to just try to be the best, try to please the teacher, trying to please, I don't know, probably myself too. So this is what I wanted to share with you, is that what is holding us back is our egos. And if we can let go of that when we're studying, when we're playing, when we're listening to other people, and not judge ourselves based on somebody else's playing, then we're in a good place. And then music is the best thing on earth. But it can also be the worst place on earth. And it's up to you and me and everybody to make the right choice in that. So that's basically what I was trying to say. I'm really curious how you guys feel about this. If you have any thoughts to share or books to share, experience to share, please do so in the comments below. And let's just try to be nicer to each other, especially on a platform like YouTube, where everybody is judging everybody, where everything is like, see a video, like, dislike. We're being triggered to be judgmental about everything. Everybody wants you to form an opinion about everything. And you don't have to have an opinion about everything. Sometimes you see a video and it's just, it's a video. Is it nice music? I don't know. I was listening to it. You know, does it, you know, is it good or bad? I don't know. How do you judge? Like, you're going to look at it technically. Oh, you know, I don't know. The chorus was blah, blah, blah. Why? Why would we do that? Let music just be the music. And automatically we pick the songs that we like. Does it make that song better than another song that we didn't pick? I don't think so. That's it for today. Thank you for watching. If you watched all the way to the end, awesome. That's probably something I didn't expect, but there you go again. That's expectations. So I'll try to get rid of that too. Anyway, I wish you a great weekend or a great week. And there's soon going to be more tutorials coming to yourguitarworkshop.com. So wishing you all the best, and until soon.